All right, good morning. Greetings and salutations to everybody out there in YouTube land. I'm your host once again, Dan Thornton. I want to thank you all for joining us here today. Lions Talk Live Morning Show Edition. And here it is, Sunday. The Lions are wrapping up OTAs, and we've got a lot of news and information that's starting to really come out, giving everybody who's a fan anticipating the 2024 year Super Bowl or bust. Really, this is the first event that gets the season going. You can kind of say, hey, rookies, camp or whatever does that, but that's on a limited basis. And it's if this week OTAs or the Pajama Olympics, and that week is I guess wherever you want to go, it's even less than that. But what it is, we can say this: we are starting to see where some of the guys have grown, developed, worked on stuff in the off season, and we're going to talk about in today's episode a few guys, maybe 5, 6, 7 people that have really jumped off the page. One of them rookies, some of them second-year guys. You get it. There's a culmination of guys from different spots, different draft classes that really look like they're going to make a big jump forward this year. And what does that mean for the Detroit Lions? Well, it probably means good things. It probably means that with this team, which is anticipated to be one of the deepest teams in the entire league, is also going to be one of the ones that makes the biggest jump forward because so many of these guys are young, ready to just make their stamp. They've gone through some of the growing pains of the rookie year, the second year, etc. So we're going to be talking about that today, and I want to hear what you guys have to say about some of these people. Is it possible that some of these guys really do become all pros, make the step forward to get in the gold jacket? I mean, we'll have to debate all that, and again, take it with a grain of salt because it is OTAs. All right, before we get into the meat of the show, though, you guys all know the drill. If you haven't yet subscribed to Lions Talk Live, please consider doing so. Trying to make that push to get to 6,800 subs. Now, well, 78 is also a goal, but 68 is up first. We need 2 more subs to get to 6,700, and then after that, make the push to get to 68. So we'll just say 102 subs are what we're targeting right now. So if you haven't yet subscribed, please consider doing so. Also, while you're watching the video, having a moment of time, if you could, reach out and hit the thumbs up button. As you guys know, it helps the channel or all channels out a ton, all videos out a lot. Try to get each video to about 200 to 300 thumbs up or likes or whatever you want to call it, because it does push the content out to more and more people who haven't yet discovered the channel. Last but never least, just because I do have a gajillion jobs and I love all of them to death, if you are looking to buy or sell property anywhere in the state of Michigan, give me a call or shoot me a text, 269-998-2384. Allow me to use over 30 years in the industry to work with you, make the process of buying a property easier, more beneficial to you, try to save you some money, whether you're selling property or purchasing property. Now, keep in mind, this can be a commercial property. This can be vacant land. This can be a secondary home. This can be a primary home. Whatever it is, I'll help you find grants, etc., that make the cost easier. Make sure when it comes to your loan that you're not overpaying. There's a lot of details that hopefully I bring to you and make the whole process easier. And again, save you a ton of money. Give me a call or shoot me a text and let's discuss it. All right. Welcome to Lions Talk Live. Let's talk about some of the guys that are going to be breaking out, it appears, this year. Now, we all know that the Detroit Lions made an epic push into the NFC title game last year, won the NFC North for the first time in 30 years. A lot of things changed with this franchise. And we all get they've been doing that for a few years now. But yes, last season was where we really made the big jump, national attention. Hey, Detroit Lions are real. Hey, they're within a half of making the Super Bowl, all that stuff. We get also what potentially kept us out of the Super Bowl was the defense, the secondary, the ability to get pressure on a quarterback, stopping multiple quarterbacks from running all over us. A lot of things like that came into play and were exposed in the second half. So what do you know? The Lions went out and worked on it. And now let's talk about a few guys who made some impact, I guess you'd say, on OTAs, raise some eyebrows. All right, we're going to start off first, though, on this list with Hendon Hooker. While Hendon Hooker, well, a lot of people have made stuff about him. A lot of people have said, hey, maybe we should have paid this guy or kept this guy as the starting quarterback and moved on from Jared Goff. There have been people all over the place. And while Hendon Hooker has impressed at times in OTAs, there's also been times he's looked less than impressive. But what we can say is Dan Campbell came out and gave a statement basically saying it was quote here, fun watching Hendon Hooker sling it in a team setting for the first time. Really nice touch on the ball, good velocity. And he goes on to talk about how he has some ups and downs, but at this point, Dan Campbell did come out and say for right now, they're looking at Hooker to potentially, keep that in mind, potentially be the number 2 quarterback behind Jared Goff. MCDC did come out and say that that is not set in stone yet. He is not assured the number 2 spot. He's still in a battle for it. So apart from the good and the bad and from the showings throughout the week, simply put, being able to see Hooker on the practice field was enough to turn many heads who were sitting there in observations. The kid's got an arm, the kid's got some mobility, and he's got some nice touch on the deep ball. Now he needs to round out some more things within his game and continue to grow in his understanding of pre and post snap reads. So again, Hendon Hooker, a lot of people are going to be watching him because they want to see what potentially the future could be with this kid as the backup quarterback. You know, could they even put in some packages for him to help round things out? One thing I would also say is you want to know where people are with each other, especially on rosters when guys are fighting for just making the team. They're fighting for an opportunity to be one of the 53. You want to see where your teammates really are as far as a collective. Pay attention to the quarterback position because everybody gets guys don't want to lose their spots as the quarterback. You want to be the starting quarterback. You want to be the number 2 quarterback. And usually those two people are battling it out. You watch a lot of the film that comes out, how much Jared Goff is working with Hendon Hooker, pointing some stuff out to him. To me, that's a sign of a real leader and somebody who's not worried if you come out and, you know, supersede him eventually. Jared Goff, I was impressed by that. And Hendon Hooker, I'm not going to say that he's going to supplant Jared Goff this year, next year, at any point. Could it happen? Sure. But it is nice to see that they're not in a combative way with each other, not trying to displace each other. They're actually trying to work with each other, at least from what you can see in the film. And I get that's a little limited, but it's nice to see those two guys going together. All right, next on the list, let's scroll on down here and move on to the next one. I know we did a video on this just the other day, so I won't do a deep dive on this one, but Jack Campbell. Also, you get a lot of people talking about how he stepped his game up. We all know he was a rookie Mike last year, moved around, became an edge at times in certain settings to rush the quarterback, and then later in the year was used on a lot more blitzing. But he eventually settled into more of an off-ball linebacker role by the time the playoffs came around, went on to have a pretty good season overall. And I gave you his stats yesterday, so if you want to go back and see how much he is standing out, some of the reports we had, go and watch that video. But before Thursday's practice, defensive coordinator Aaron Glenn mentioned Campbell's all-around progress in the couple of OTA days they had at that point. Went on to even say, and here's a quote, "Let me tell you, first off, he's a man. He's a grown man. He's really taken control of this offseason the way he should take control of it," Glenn said. He's a true Mike linebacker. He's a guy that lives, breathes green dot mentality as a Mike backer. He's done a really good job, and all of our guys have, for transforming their bodies. They've had a true offseason in the NFL. So he's done a good job of that. And then just watching him on the field, his zone drop, his mentality as far as going after the football has been outstanding. We've only had 2 days of practice at this point, and he's been doing a heck of a job. Just the way, I got to move down here. Boy, I lost my spot there. He's doing a real good job transforming his body, true offseason in the NFL. So he's done a good job of that. And just watching him on the field, his zone drop, his mentality as far as going after the football has been outstanding. We've only had a few days of practice, and he's done a heck of a job. Just the way he's leading the men as far as the defense is impressive to see. So, and I get, you got to take everybody's commentary with a grain of salt just because nobody's going to say anything bad about anybody. Nobody's going to point the finger at somebody and say, man, this guy looks like he's eaten 29 hot dogs from Circle K and been sitting on his butt all day. Nobody's going to come out and say that at this point. Now, we get to the preseason stuff. You might get some of that, but right now in OTAs, people are going to probably keep a pretty thumbs up, happy-go-lucky, etc. Now, the next person, I didn't put him in the thumbnail, and I apologize for that. I thought the thumbnail was pretty crowded by the time I got to him, is Michael Badgley. A bunch of you guys on the morning show yesterday, and to be fair, the last few days, have been talking about him. But Badgley apparently has put in a lot of work, and we all get this. He's battling to keep his spot with the Detroit Lions. He does not want to go unemployed again. So he's putting in a ton of work trying to strengthen his leg. And Dave Flip has come out and said, hey, this guy has added some real legitimate kicking power. He's no longer a question mark at 50 yards. He's hitting some from over 60 yards. Justin Rogers of Detroit News goes on to note, quote, badged home several 50-plus yard field goals working on the side, often clearing the crossbar with several yards to spare during Thursday's practice. Other reporters in attendance noticed that Badgley made a 52 and 60-plus yard field goals during situational drills that were more prominent for all to see. Showing better range in the practice field in May might not mean a thing, or it may come down to meaning a lot as Badgley staves off whatever level of actual competition there is for his job. Now, that could be from the other kickers in camp. We all know about Jake the Hitman Bates, trying to potentially be a Lion. So what's this mean for Badgley? I guess we'll have to debate, but what we can say is Badgley seems acutely aware of his situation and trying to prolong his NFL career. Where this takes him, wait and see. If the Lions go out and sign Jake Bates, in about a week when he's eligible to now be signed, probably means they're not that impressed with Badgley. But if they don't, maybe that's a sign that they're seeing enough with Badgley to say, we're just going to roll with him. All right, going back to the defensive side of the ball here, Carlton Davis. Reports are all over Allen Park throughout the OTAs, just how great a job Carlton Davis III is doing during practice. It was a live practice quote. We all heard it. I did a video on it just saying, hey, he's here to win a Super Bowl. He's not, taking anybody's guff, whatever you want to say. He's here to lead this team, this defense, this no-fly zone. He wants it to be as tough as possible for teams to come in and move the ball on us. And he understands. He's won a Super Bowl before. He also understands he's getting a little bit long in the tooth by NFL standards, so he probably doesn't have a ton of other opportunities to go out and get one. He feels and he says he thinks this is a Super Bowl team, and I agree with him. I don't think the Lions really have any holes that are obvious and glaring, etc. So he wants to go out there and win it. He's also on a limited time left in his contract. He wants to get another contract, whether it's with Detroit or somebody else. So Carlton Davis, he's come out and shown leadership skills, but also the reason why the Lions traded the third-round pick to acquire him. Let that sink in. I know there were some Lions fans that weren't happy about us giving up a third to get him, but you might have gotten an all-pro level cornerback for a third-round pick. That doesn't happen very often, so it could be something good. All right, next on the list, and again, somebody we talked about earlier in the week, Mekhi Wingo. The reports are still coming out just how impressive he was in OTAs. And I know, again, we did a video a few days ago on it, but Mekhi Wingo is sounding more and more like the real McCoy. It's one thing to go through one day of practice and say, hey, he had a great day, caught people off guard. People haven't seen him before, don't know some of his techniques, his moves, or whatever it is. But then you see it in day two. Now that in day two, he does it again. And these are against guys that don't want to get embarrassed. They don't want a rookie coming in and showing him up. So the fact that he's been able to do it for 2-3 days, etc., starting to look like Mekhi Wingo might be legitimate. And again, this is OTAs. This is not padded practice. This isn't, full bore. This isn't as competitive as it will be towards the middle to later part of July. And then obviously when guys are trying to make the roster. I don't think there's any chance Mekhi Wingo doesn't make the roster. You never know, though. Crazier things have happened. But Mekhi Wingo might just end up being one of the bigger steals for this rookie class. And I think there's going to be a few. I think when you look at Christian Mahogany, you look at Manu, among other guys, in time, I think some of those guys are going to really grow into impactful players. It doesn't mean they're going to be all pros or Hall of Famers, whatever. But Mekhi Wingo, so far, is looked every bit as a late round steal as you could expect. I mean, you could not have asked for more out of him in OTAs. It doesn't mean he's going to be this, that, or the other thing, but could he have done less in OTAs? Yeah, he could have achieved a whole lot less. He seems to have hit the cover off the ball with everything asked of him so far. So I think as Lions fans, need to keep our eyes on him. And also, last one here that I'm going to throw at you, at least as far as my notes and any kind of info I was able to get. And this will be a quick one just because we've already talked about it earlier in the week. Jameson Williams, he's sounding more and more like he's rounded out his route tree. He's gone through the tree and worked on, his inner and outer cuts. his deep posts, fly patterns, comeback routes, whatever you want to say. His footwork looks much more improved. So he's clearly been working with somebody on that. Also, pay attention to his hand placement. When he's catching the ball now, he is creating the cone around it. So thumbs down, pointer fingers up, and he's now enclosing his hands around it. He's also, once he's enclosed it in with his eyes and his hands, then he's looking to turn and go upfield. So is it huge differences? No, but these small differences, these growths make a huge difference. We've talked about it before on the show. Over the last year, in my opinion, when he came out of college, he really hadn't been taught much as far as foot placement, how to turn his hips, how to use his elbows to get in and out of routes faster, breaks faster, and then the little details we just talked about with, hand placement, eye placement on the ball. I think in college, no matter which college he was at, he was just allowed to be the most athletic guy out there on the field. While he's still arguably one of the fastest guys in the league, a lot of people are going to catch up to him as far as that athleticism, so he needed more technique. And I thought last year, as the season went on, you could see those things maturing within him. Now, you got another offseason, continued growth. I think Jamison Williams might be the real deal. He might be breaking out this year, and I get we've talked about it, but he might be one of the guys that across the NFL, people are going to go, wow, as this guy really jumped off the page. All right, enough of me jibber-jabbering to giving you guys my ideas or thoughts about the guys who have stood out the most in OTAs. Let's see what you guys have to say. Sorry, I had to clear my throat. All right, Michael, greetings, salutations, Duke Crew. Super Bowl or bust, one pride, exclamation points. Thanks, Coach, for all you do. Back at you, Michael. Thanks for all you do. And woo! There you go. Get the whoos out of the way. JDC, morning all. Back at you. Mike the Marine, Gunny. Howdy, Dan Linesfield. Do or die season. Woo! There you go, man. We got some moves this morning, so you know what? Just for you guys. All right, got to work on some more stuff today and tomorrow just to kind of add more to the show. All right, Bo, good morning, Duke Crew. I see Super Bowl, Superdome, or bust. Woo! Man, we are wooing today. Frank the Tank. Woo! There you go. Steve, good morning to Coach Dan and all my brothers and sisters of the Duke Crew. Back at you, Steve. Hopefully I have an outstanding one. All right, Damien, good morning, Duke Crew. Dan, do you ever take a day off? Question mark. Thank you for always doing this. Hope everyone has a good holiday weekend. Yeah, same at you. I enjoy this. This is just part of my routine now every morning. So I get up, love do what we have here. So I'm going to keep on doing it until you guys tell me no more. Big Eddie, great salutations all. Are OTAs over now? Yeah, they're basically over now. So they've rounded out. They've done their time. Everybody's probably moving on to tomorrow and the holiday. After that, we really won't see a whole lot out of the Lions until training camp in about whatever it is at this point, 9 weeks, something like that. Maybe it's a little bit longer than that. Hey, man, good, beautiful morning, Dan and the Duke family. 100%. It's sun's out. It's nice. Yeah. Thankfully, Michigan here, we didn't get any huge storms, but I do understand Texas, Arkansas, some of the middle portion of the country were hit with some more tornadoes yesterday. So it's unfortunate. Hopefully everybody's okay. All right, Hookadoo, good morning, Dan, the Duke Crew, exclamation point. And to those that have given it all for the USA, God bless America. Woo! Yeah, at the end of the day, that's what this weekend's about, is remembering those who have fallen, those who have given up either their lives or a portion of their lives for the defense of this country. So take a moment out of your time, maybe shake the hand of a veteran if you see him going by, open a door, pay some respects for him. So I know one of my traditions on Memorial Weekend is to watch the movie Midway. I really love it. So that's what I'll be doing at some point today. All right, Mike the Marine. I like our press man to throw off the quarterback timing and hide where the blitzes are coming from with the DBs that are interchangeable. I look forward to stunts from the front seven too. Woo! Yeah, I think we're going to do a lot to bring the heat. And I get we've talked about that, but you look at the guys that we've brought in, you look at some of the parts and components. I think with like DJ Reader and Aleem McNeil, among other people, Broderick Martin and whoever else, their job is going to be to try to contain the guards in the center, try to stop quarterbacks from escaping up the middle as best they can, clog up those spots, allow the blitzers and the ends to come in from the edges, create the funnel and the cone, and collapse the pocket there within them, getting to the quarterback, not allowing him to break the pocket and get outside wide. That means, man, you're going to have somebody in your face. If they can pull that off most times, disrupting passing lanes on top of what the secondary is doing. So I think we think alike there, Gunny. All right, Hookadoo. Yes, even you, Broski, laughing out loud. Go Lions, one pride, 100%. Yes, Broski. Hey, he might be the odd uncle in the Duke crew, but he is a part of the Duke crew. Bo, the Motor City Maulers, backed up by the air traffic control crew, enforces that no-fly zone. I like all that, Bo. I'm about to lock stuff up. Yes, they are. They're going to come after it and not let you do what you want to do. All right, 70. Good morning, boys! Exclamation point. Cooking breakfast and hanging with the Duke crew. Sounds like a winning combination to me, Steph. Hopefully having a great one. Hatman, the wifey and I are sitting here enjoying our coffee and a little bit of a wake and bake. There you go. Bo, Java, 100%. JDC, breakfast, yum, 100%. Yes, who doesn't like breakfast? All right, France, good evening all. It sounds like more of the defensive players are standing out. Is that correct, Coach? Yeah, I would say from most of the reports that's accurate, but I would also say early on in preseason, drills or whatever, when the offenses are less organized, the defensive players typically stand out more. So I would say that that's normal. But every once in a while you get offense that jumps out, which I will say this, France, though, to your point, the defense is standing out more and more this time of year. So that makes it, to me at least, more and more impressive when you have someone on the offensive side like Jameson Williams, who is jumping off the page, catching eyes, because they typically don't have all the advantages the D does early. JDC, woo, excuse me, woo, coffee. The coffee you drink while watching / listening to Lions Talk Live. Yeah, somehow there's got to be a way for Jen to get woo coffee in the store, but yeah, I'll have to see what she can do with that. Bo, defense usually starts out better. I agree with that, Bo. I agree. Just say Kate, greetings and salutations. I need me some woo coffee. Woo coffee. Dragging a bit today after spending all day and night on the lake. Well, it sounds like you had a good time, Kate, so kick back today and do whatever you got to do to recover. And come on, pick yourself up off the mat and get ready for the next day. And hopefully have a good one. Hatman, JDC, absolutely, and Erie. There you go. JDC, thanks, Hat. All right. Steve, I would like to see some packages designed for Hendon Hooker. I think that would be another way to put pressure on defenses. Yeah, I think they probably will, Steve. At least that would be my anticipation. Throw a change of pace, catch the defense off guard, and all the other part is make them, in preparation for you, have to spend more time on something. At the end of the day, are you going to see a ton of it during the game? Probably not, but you are going to have to use some of your practice to try to prepare for that when you play the Detroit Lions. Ben Johnson likes to catch other teams off guard with this or that. Now here's another option for him to do something off script with. Try to catch and force the defenses to make some in-game adjustments that maybe they didn't have an opportunity to really work on at length leading up to the game. So I concur. Let's see. Susan, what do you got? Good morning. I read MCDC say Hooker isn't yet the number 2 quarterback. Are we concerned by that? I can only speak for myself and say, no, not at this point. We think about it last year. I mean, he got to go through some walkthroughs, but not any kind of live fire. So everything would have it would have been pretty easy for him to go through. It doesn't mean he didn't get value out of it or learning opportunities, but now is the first time he's really been on the field with the Detroit Lions, at least, and then have the opportunity to walk through plays, see live things, defenders flying around, making adjustments, making his mind and eyes have to catch those small differences from college and the NFL and make adjustments. So it's probably going to take him a little bit to grow into this role of the true number 2 quarterback, and he's also got to earn it. That's one thing we can say for our coaching staff is they do not seem to care where you're drafted or not even drafted. If you're performing, that's all they're going to be worried about. That's their focus. So good for them for that. And I think we'll probably see a lot of growth out of Hendon Hooker this offseason, especially with the preseason games. All right, Robert, greetings one and all. Back at you, Robert. Ken, good morning, Dan. Greetings, salutations, everyone. Exclamation point. Can't wait for this season to start. No, in my opinion, we're really down to about 2 months until the season actually starts with, training camp, all that stuff, preseason stuff. So it's getting closer and closer there, Ken. All right, Phil, who is our quarterback coach? Mark Brunell, he's played for so many different teams during his career, but he was an all-pro quarterback, mostly with Jacksonville Jaguars, among other teams. I want to say he even played a stint with Detroit Lions towards the end of his career. But apparently he's done a pretty good job. Even before he came to Detroit, he was a QB coach. I'm trying to remember where. I don't remember this morning, but he's risen up the ranks a little bit, and he's got some notoriety for sure for it. Ken Brunell, yes. Steve, what do you got? Hey, all, has anyone heard updates on the rookies? Question mark. I've seen some guys talk about others, not at all. Yeah, I'd say that's pretty fair, Steve. I know we've heard some stuff. Obviously, Makai Wingo. We've heard a little bit about Rakestraw to a small degree, just because he is a little limited at this point. Arnold, we've heard some stuff about. Although most of the commentary about him came out of the rookie camp, not so much the OTAs. Trying to think of somebody else. There hasn't been a ton about any of the other ones that I'm aware of, other than with one exception. Vaki, we've heard a little bit about him in returns, running, and then also special teams. Although I do think they're still trying to keep special team stuff fairly mum until they get to the preseason games, just because they're trying not to tip their hand at what they're planning on doing as much as they can keep that quiet. All right, Phil, I want summer first. Yeah, I think you'll get it there, Phil. We're into it right now, I'd say. All right, JDC, Puff, good stuff. Hat, there you go. Ken, Mark Burnell. Yes, I concur. Jedi Sith, greetings, salutations. Anyone else think we still look to add to the wide receiver room? I think there's probably an opportunity if the right one arises. But I will say this, Jedi, that some of that's going to come down to how guys look, or one way or the other. If they look real great with, Green or Donovan Peoples-Jones, maybe it's less of a concern for the Lions, because you do think you got Cleve Raymond, you got Donovan Peoples-Jones, Antoine Green, St. Brown, Jameson Williams. I mean, that's probably about what most teams are going to carry, about 5 wide receivers. Maybe a few will carry 6. So could they still look to add somebody to that mix? Sure, 100%. But I would think most of the people, if you look to add them, you're either going to have to cut somebody else to put a 1 in and have a 6, or you're going to have to put them on the practice squad. So wait and see, my friend. Wait and see. Again, Brunell, 100%. JDC, peace. And if you can't dig it, peace on you. If you can dig it, I can't dig it, a peace on you. I'll go with that, JDC. Ken Brunell, there, right? Rocky, good morning, all. Back at you, Rock. Have an awesome one. Ken, dang, autocorrect. Yes, it gets us all, man. It gets us all. Lions fan Mark Brunell, been around a few seasons now. Maybe this is 4th one with Detroit, question mark. I don't know. Yeah, that sounds about right. I want to say we hired him the first year this regime came in, but don't hold me to that. I don't have it in front of me. All right, Hatman, thanks, JDC. I will try to only grow the best vegetables. Yes, who does it? You got to have your vegetables, man. JDC, thumbs up, JDC. I used to grow, quote, vegetables. Now I just go to the veggie store. All right. Hey, so I know we grow tomatoes and stuff. We're trying to do that more and more with growing some fruit and vegetables. All right, Bo, I grow mold. All right. There you go. Good for you, man. Phil, you grow weed. All right. Well, have at it, my friend. Have at it. Mike, what do you got? Get ready. Get ready. It's time. Woo! There you go. Gonna need this. It is time for Lions Talk live in the morning. Patrick, good morning, all. Greetings and salutations. Some of our new people seem to be trending up very well. It's going to be a tough cut down. Well, I can't stay for the whole show. I have to get to church. Get to church, my friend. Have a good day. You can always watch the show on replay, or just catch you tomorrow, man. I hope you have a good one all the same. All right, JDC, we are all growing old. Yes, we are growing old and sometimes mold. So we'll go with both. All right, Hatman at Bo Booth. Yes. Phil, age is just a number. How do you feel? I feel pretty good, man. Given all things, getting, closer to 52 now, I don't really have any, huge worries, whatever. And hopefully that's true with everybody watching, man. Hopefully you're all having a great day. Patrick at Bo Booth. Mushrooms. I take it. Yes, mushrooms. All right, Steve, thumbs up for Dan. Thumbs up for you, Steve. And thumbs up, yeah. If you guys can, you gotta get the drill. Take a quick second, hit the thumbs up button, and I appreciate it. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. All right, Donkey Kong, Super Bowl or bust, 1,000,000,000%. We can all say what we want. Let's also be real. This organization has grown to the point where if we don't make the Super Bowl this year, most fans are going to probably view that as a letdown, a real deflation to the team. I hate saying it, but I think that's it for the team. And if we get there, the mission really needs to be to win it, not just to get there, even though me as a fan, somebody who hasn't seen the team in the Super Bowl or a title game, whatever you want to say, man, just getting there is going to probably have me celebrating, but we need to be greedy. This year, next year, really are prime years for us to go out and get it. And I hate the use of the term windows, so I'm not even going there. I'm just going to say this is a prime opportunity this season, next year, to really go out and win the Super Bowl. We need to be all in to win it. And thank you, Donkey, for always being a part of the show. Burger time. What do you got? Good morning, Dan. Happy Memorial Day weekend, everyone. Let's go, Lions. Woo! And good to see you in the show there, Berg. Thanks you for all you do for the show. Did you see one Duke crew yell on 3? 1, 2, 3. Woo! There you go. And you know what? Which one will we use? I enjoy it, man. Hey, man, before 2 years ago, Phil, great after the back injury, very old. Okay. Yeah. Hey, hopefully you all stay healthy out there and have a great weekend. Silver Surfer, Coach, you are a grinder. Good morning. Yes, I just part of who I am, man. You can credit to coaching for so long. You just get up and go. If you don't, somebody else will. So, plus, I enjoy this show a ton, man. I enjoy being here with you guys and just talking about the Detroit Lions. I mean, there are a lot worse things in life than doing this. All right, Bo. Woo! There you go, Hammond. Woo! There we go. Burger time. Morning, Hookadoo. Matthew, greetings, salutations. Good morning, everyone. Super Dome! Exclamation point. Super Bowl! Exclamation point. Woo! 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 Back at you, Grace. And you know what? Thank you, Matthew, for always being here. Wayne, the Lions draft players with such patience. Have you ever seen a team so dedicated to its players? Question mark. I.e. Levi Onwuzurike. Yeah, we could all talk about the misfortune of his back injury. It's probably, it'd be my guess at least, that when they draft him, they knew about the back injury. It just ended up being more impactful than anybody would have guessed. The doctors, everybody in the NFL scouting combine, et cetera, et cetera. All that being said, if you go out and look at his numbers last year, just his numbers, rankings and stuff, he had a pretty damn good year. Now, the one thing you got to take a step back from and say that is on a limited basis, though, for him, because I think they were not trying to overload him. Some of you guys know more about the back injury stuff than I do. That's just more your realm than it is mine. So I'm going to defer to your wisdom. Some of you guys that are in the medical fields have said, hey, this year, the third year, that back should be fully healed up or whatever. It is possible for Onwuzurike to maybe make a bigger jump forward this year. That happens. I mean, good for him. Good for the team, because he could be an impactful player. Like you're saying, Wayne, though, there's a lot of guys on this team. Manu is an example. Iffy is an example. Guys that the team's committed to growing and developing and turning them into the player they think they ultimately can become. That's where I give the staff some credit. And that starts with the front office all the way down to the coaching staff. They're identifying guys. Maybe other teams were passing on because, you know what, they're not polished yet. They might have this or that, but they're completely raw. And this regime just says, in the heck with it, man. We have enough faith in ourselves to develop that guy into what he can become. So I really hope for Onwuzurike that he comes in and just has a great season, because I think that would just be an awesome story. Plus, if you ever heard the guy talk and watch him, teammates love him. He seems to be a great dude. So I'm rooting for him. Hopefully he can get it done. All right, bird time. Good morning, Matt. Good morning. All right, 9 drinks. Dang, notifications, it's 2 minutes late. Hey, it happens, man. It happens. So sorry about that, 9 drinks. Hopefully you're having an outstanding morning. All right, Patrick, one thing about OTAs, you can judge things like heart, desire, and work ethic. Yeah, you can. Yeah, you can get an idea for who that person is internally. I get some people who, I get there's a knock on OTAs that, hey, it's not real football or drills or whatever. And to a certain extent, that's true. But you can judge how much somebody's going to quickly learn. Does it take them a lot of reps? Where's their passion, their heart as you're putting out there, Patrick? So you can judge some things for sure. Man, anyone hear anything on Peterson, the quarterback from GVSU? I have not since the rookie invite. Him and a couple of the other guys have not heard any updates on. So it is what it is. All right, man, same here, 9 drinks. There you go. Phil, when Dan buys a F-250 4x4 diesel, I'll call for land. All right, there you go. Yeah, probably gonna be a while before I buy another car, man. I mean, I might like my car, but yeah, the thing, it's great in some ways. It's there are some adjustments, I guess you could say, in other ways. But yeah, I'm probably not adding a new car anytime soon. Hookadoo, Berg, morning, dude. But there you go, morning to each other. Phil, there's going to be some surprise at quarterback. There might be, man. There could be. Could somebody supplant Hooker as the number two? Somebody, that's up to the individuals. You go out and do your job. Worry about the rankings and where everything falls. One thing I will say for the staff, they don't care about anything other than what's best for the team, and I give them credit for that. Again, I like that grit, Gunny, 100%. Phil, Griffins won a great game. I did not check that out, but I have heard they've played well this year. All right, Don Kong, 0 rookies will start week 1 on this year's team. I'd say that could be a possibility for sure, just because unlike most of the rest of the year that this regime's been here, this team's deep, man. And I could totally see Arnold's going to be the one that probably has the best opportunity to start, but I could also see where it's Davis, Robertson, Branch, Iffy, and Kirby Joseph all starting. And then, Arnold's going to have to come in on limited reps, snaps, etc. So you could be spot on with that, Donkey. All right, Bergs, no pads anywhere can look great. Let's see when it's real. Yeah, and we got it, like I said, about 2 months or so. Maybe it's a little bit longer than that. All right, one funky. Watch out, coach. Complimenting Hooker gets some people upset. It does, man. And I get it, man. But, hey, you also have to be fair to the players. If somebody looks good, say it. If somebody looks bad, don't be afraid to say it. Hooker's going to have some up and down moments. The only thing I would say is I think he's got a lot of the tools to be a pretty dang good quarterback. Now, what I want to see, even though it'll be preseason games, it won't be the ones out there. When he goes out there, what did he struggle with week 1 in the preseason, and how much did that change to week 2 to week 3? All I want to see is the coach or subtle improvements. And it doesn't have to be off the charts. If it is off the charts improvement from week 1, 2 to 3, then great. You know what? He's got something going. But most players, most people, it is minute changes from week to week to week. And as long as he's doing that, I'd say he's doing all right. All right, Bo, what do you got? Don Kong, I tend to agree with you. A good thing. Hey, we got some agreeing people today, not arguing people today. I'll go with that all the time. Matthew, good morning, Berg. Yes, everybody, good morning, Bergs. Bergs, I agree. Don Kong, there you go. Don Kong, we should all take just a few seconds and say a prayer for thanks for Brad Holmes. Yes, take a moment of pause and say thank you for Brad Holmes for turning this thing around. All right, Michael, good morning, DC. There you go. Morning to you, Michael. Bo, I say a little prayer. Do you know the way to New Orleans? All right, yeah, New Orleans. There you go. It's been a few years since I've been there. Dennis, good morning, fam. And Dan, back at you, Dennis. Big Daz, good. Bo, Brad has a sixth round sense. Hey, I like what you did there, Bo. He does seem to find some good values in the 6th round and other rounds as well. Dominic, good morning from Texas, ! Lions 14-3, first ever Super Bowl winner with only 2 playoff wins to boot. 2 100-yard, 1,000-yard receivers and 2 1K-yard rushers. Let's go Lions. I'd say those numbers are very achievable, Dominic. And, hey, hopefully you stayed safe. I understood Texas has gotten hit with a lot of storms, powerful ones, wind-wise, the last couple days. So hopefully you're good. But the rest of it, I think, yeah, we could definitely have 2,000-yard receivers. Now, could we have 3 with Jameson Williams, St. Brown, and Laporta? Man, that'd be something, wouldn't it? And with the rushers, yeah, I think it's definitely a possibility. I mean, some of these numbers are going to happen just through attrition of the added games to the roster, or the season, I should say. But, yeah, we're going to be able to put up some numbers. Big Daz, good morning, Duke Crew, and Captain Dan, back at you, Big Daz. Hopefully you have a good one. All right, Rocky, with Wingo, I don't like to hear about short arms. And had a player with short arms and longer arm players couldn't get theirs on him because he had powerful arms with leverage. He would be fine out there. Yeah, and I get, hey, NFL scouting combine, it's all about this, that, and the other thing. It's all about measuring the measurables and saying, well, everybody else's norm is here and you're there. Is what it is, man. There's been so many guys in the league that haven't had quite those things and still get it done. End of the day, can you get it done or can't you? People have, come at Goff and said, well, he's got baby hands or whatever. You know what? The dude still has taken 2 different NFL teams to playoff wins and to the NFC title game. I get it. So whatever he's doing okay with it. So I would say the measurables are one thing. What you produce is another thing. And that's, at the end of the day, this is a production-based business. You get it done or you don't. All right, Bo Dominic, I like the cut of your jibs. All right, very good. Ed, good morning, Coach and Duke crew. This is the best offseason years. Go Lions. For the Detroit Lions, it has to be, man, because I remember thinking, man, there wouldn't be a whole lot to talk about. I'd have to work on this or that just to have content every morning. To be fair, the Lions are always doing something so much that the offseason really isn't so much of a downtime anymore. I mean, I think the next week or two, potentially there could be some downtimes just because OTAs are passed. You're going to have to look for new information. There's no free agency. More than likely, I'm not anticipating any trades or signings before training camp. But man, they don't stop working. That's credit for Brad Holmes, MCDC, and everybody in between. They keep going. All right, Michael, do you think the Lions are going to trade for something at trade deadline this upcoming season? I'd say it's possible. It is possible just because if something emerges that they really feel they can, help push them forward over the top, then yeah, I think Brad Holmes would do it. What also would be further cooperating evidence of that, Michael, is you look at the last year. It's come out now. Brad Holmes even talked about it, that he did talk to the Carolina Panthers about Burns and trying to acquire him. Talked to Washington about trying to get Sweat, not so much Chase Young, but Montez Sweat. And I want to say there was another team he talked to that he came out and said, or the Lions came out and said, that they did try to negotiate some sort of trade to acquire somebody. And I want to say all the guys were rush ends, basically. It's just, I'm guessing it just, the other teams were asking for more than what Brad Holmes was willing to give, or they got outbid, like with the case of Sweat, because they weren't going to give up a first-round pick to acquire Montez Sweat, and thankfully they didn't. But I think if they feel they're a one player away or something like that, to your point, could they make the trade? Yes, they could. Now, with that being said, we don't have a third or fourth in next year's draft, so you only have so much ammunition. So wait and see what happens. All right, JDC at Bo Booth. I like the cut of the Duke crew, jibber jabber. There you go. Yes, the Duke crew's got it. All right, Hatman, we lost 7 trees from the storm last Monday. You want to come up and help cut them, Dan? How far drive are we talking, Hatman? How far? All right, Dennis, thank you for whoever served. Happy Memorial Day. Yes, happy Memorial Day to all those who served. Again, go out of your way to say thanks to them. So if you see someone walking around, go ahead and tip your cap to them. Dennis, don't forget the fallen that put their lives on the line for us. Yes, 100%. And I know, like my oldest sister, Teresa, she served in the Navy for, I don't know, 20-some years. I think she was like 15, 16 years older than me. So the first time I even remember meeting her was I was like 7 or 8 years old. I mean, I met her when I was younger, but, I was so young when she left for the military that I didn't really remember it. Yeah, she served forever there. I know I've talked to you guys before. Most of my uncles have. My dad, my grandfathers did. So in various different wars. So make sure you go on at your time. Anybody who served, put their life on the line, or maybe even given up their life. Go ahead and say something to them, whether mentally or physically or whatever. Because it's not everybody who wants to go out and do that stuff, and yet you need that stuff done in order to protect your country. All right, JDC Hearts, yes, 100%. Courtney, start third quarters with Hendon Hooker. Maybe they'd look to do that to try to break the curse of the third quarter that we had last year. It's odd that last year it happened. I don't remember it so much the season before that, but something clearly happened last year where, man, we just could not get our wheels spinning going somewhere in the third quarter. All right, Hookadoo. Hey, man, you have a fireplace. Sounds like you have all the wood you might need. And now there's some outside the box thing. Chop it up and get ready for winter. Be ahead of the curve. There you go. Courtney, I believe this team is ready! Exclamation point. Donovan Peoples-Jones will fit the bill. Yes, I think he's going to have a pretty good year. I think a lot of the stuff about Josh Reynolds, and I get him and Goff had chemistry. Reynolds, other than the NFC title game, had a very good impact on this franchise during his time here. And I get, unfortunately, he dropped a couple big balls. And, we can all debate, hey, if he would have held on to the first one, do we make the Super Bowl? My answer is still to this day, yes. He catches that pass, we're in the Super Bowl. But didn't happen. He's moved on. But Donovan Peoples-Jones, as you're pointing out there, I think he's going to have a pretty good year. All right, thanks, Courtney. Let's see, JDC, Hammond, lots of very windy days. Hope you don't get any major damage. I have to do a wind damage check at camp today. Well, do it, and hopefully it all goes well. Amy, retired trucker, retired lady trucker here. I have to correct the Do Crew family. Tomorrow is Memorial Day. This day honors our war dead that didn't make it back home. Veterans Day is November 11th. This is true. There you go. And thanks for that, Amy. Thank you. All right, Mike, we got the big-time Lions fan from Vegas. I think the addition of Kevin Zettler was an upgrade over Jonah Jackson. Plus, he is durable. There is that part, too. And I'd completely forgot until somebody brought it up in the show, I'll say last week, that Jackson, I get he had a kind of an injury-filled season, that he even missed the majority of the NFC title game. I like the way you're thinking, Mike. I think Kevin's going to come on in and he's going to be a pretty good stabilizing force. We can all debate if he's better in pass protection, run protection than JJ was, but whatever it is, I think at the end of the day, the Lions are basically about the same overall between those two guys, other than availability. Kevin's more available than Jonah Jackson has been the last few years. So wish JJ well, but hey, he's not a Lion anymore. All right, Jason, what do you got? Greetings, salutations, Superdome or bust. Good morning to you, Jason. Hopefully having a great day, my friend. Bird time, I believe Brunell is entering his fourth season. I think you are correct with that. I think you are 100% spot on with that. Donkey Kong 17, and yo, I'll take that, man. I would be jumping up and down, and kicking back, and enjoying an undefeated season. All right, Hatman. Thank God the closest tree was 50 yards away. Definitely a tornado was nearby. Trees fell in different directions, but no structural damage. I'm glad that it was just the trees. And hey, don't be afraid to replant a tree. Help repopulate the tree population. All right, 9 drinks and need harmonics pics of that T-shirt. There you go. Hatman's pics on a T-shirt. All right, Hatman's. I think if you go to the Do Crew store, I think that picture is from one of the shirts there. So go to lionstalklive.com, and I'm pretty sure that's where he got it, and that's where Jen put him. So I don't know. I guess you can always pull up the store and put it on the show, but you guys can go there at your own time or whatever, but that might not be a bad idea sometime to just scroll through it. 9 drinks and need help me. Yeah, sorry. Yep. And like I said, go to the store. All right, Dunk Kong. Yeah, Brunell came in with Dan. There you go. Hatman, 9 drinks. There you are. Dunk Kong. Levi is a bust. Let's move on. Let's hope not, man. Let's hope not. All right, Amy, we are Gold Star family. Memorial Day used to be called Decoration Day. I appreciate all those who have served. My daughter-in-law's brother was KIA in Iraq. Sorry to hear that. Very sorry to hear that. November 21st, 05. So please remember them tomorrow. 100%. Yeah, I know I'll be going out and visiting my dad and some of my grandparents' graves and paying my respects. All right, Amy, I don't mean to bring the team down. Enjoy tomorrow with your families, but say a prayer for the fallen. Yeah, 100% with that, Amy. And I think you're doing a fine job of stuff. So you're not bringing anybody down. All right, Motown, greetings, salutations, coach on the Do Crew. Lions rule, Bears drool, Superdome or bust. Woo! Well, thank you for that, Motown, and hopefully having a great day, man. JDC, thank you for all you served. You'll be in my thoughts, 100%. Ban war. There we go. We'll ban the wars. If we could do that, that'd be great. J Rod, good morning, coach and Do Crew. Woo! There we go. I'm gonna have to bust out the Ric Flair wig at some point here. 9 drinks, JDC, 100%. Bird time. Lions should use Hooker like Saints used Tyson, used Hill, since he has wheels and everyone claims. We'll see what the Lions end up figuring out and what they decide kind of packages to put in for him. Donkey Kong, I want to see Hooker so we can get an idea for the Hooker packages that are incoming this season. Yeah, we'll go ahead and get to preseason games, and we'll get at least some idea where he's at with stuff. Dennis, what do you got? Jerry Ball had a great OTA. He did. Jerry Ball, that dude was a player. He did. Laughing? Yes, Dennis, laughing. Donkey Kong, Burger time. There is no doubt Hooker will have packages like Saints use Hill. However, Lions have a great quarterback, so those packages will be limited. Hill gets a good number of snaps per game. Yes, I would agree. Tyson Hill, man, he's a weapon. I mean, I don't know what you want to classify him as. I don't think he's really a quarterback, but he can throw. He's not really a running back, but he can rush. He's not really a receiver, but he can catch. So I don't know where you put him on things. I don't think Hendon Hooker's like Tyson Hill, but is he mobile? Sure. Does he have an arm? Yes. Couldn't you figure out some packages for him? 100%. 100%. Bird time. Damn, Jerry Ball, we are going way back. Yeah, and talking about that, man, the year the Lions made the big push, beat the in the was it 91, beat the Dallas Cowboys in the playoffs, and then got to the Washington uh, Redskins at that point. Jerry Ball, unfortunately, I want to say it was a couple of weeks beforehand in the season, took a shot on the knee, messed it up pretty good, so he missed the playoffs. I do wonder at times what the Lions would have been like had he been out there. I don't think it would have been enough to make up the difference between the Lions and Washington in that NFC title game, but he probably would have made some impact for sure. Dennis laughing out loud. There you go. Don Kong, love Jerry Ball. Yeah, he was a good dude. Good dude. Dennis, hell yeah, we'll go with that. Burger time. Fourth and short packages work. Goff is my quarterback, no doubt. Yeah, and hey, use all the players you got. You figure ways out to get more out of them, but doesn't mean that you're going to supplant Goff by any means. So I'm agreeing with you there. All right, Mike the Marine had back surgery April 19th, 93. L5 to S1 fusion with 4 screws. It took me 2.5 years to recover fully. I became a drill instructor in January 1996. Back to running 6-minute miles, heart and dedication. Woo! Yeah, so in regards to Onzarike, hopefully he can get back to, at least some of his potential because the dude can play. We'll see what happens, but this does sound like it's going to be a key year for him, a very key year. Bird time, Benny Blades, Mel Gray. Yeah, some great throwbacks there. Benny Blades, last I knew, which was probably about 2 years ago, so it may not be accurate anymore. He was an athletic director at a high school down in Florida. So, again, I don't know if that's still accurate, but yeah. Mel Gray, I do not know anything about. So that would be a good where are they now type moment. All right, one funky. Guys, Hooker and Hill are not the same type players. No, I agree. With that 100%. Hatman, come on, everyone, tickle that like button and share this channel for Dan of the Do Crew. Yes, if you guys can, you guys know what to do. Help out the channel. Hey, be very appreciative. All right, Motown, easy coach saying anything good about Goff will get you attacked. Hopefully you're well trained. Yeah, hey, it comes with the business, man. Somebody's always coming after you. Don, one funky, exactly using Hooker like Hill. Hooker would be in the hospital. Yes, I do agree that they're not the same type of player. Dennis, loved Mel Gray and Benny Blades. Yeah, two outstanding guys. Mel Gray, as explosive as he was on the field, I was just often surprised they didn't get him involved more in the passing game, especially in the run and shoot. Some dink and dunk passes, let him open up and get going. But for whatever reason, they didn't. Maybe they just thought his value in returns was too high. Benny Blades, you talk about somebody who sacrificed his body on every hit. That guy would throw it around with reckless abandon. And both of them, though, interview-wise, some of the nicest guys you will ever meet. I mean, just not selfish, willing to kick back, talk for 5 minutes if need be, as long as the questions were good. It was different when you had some moron asking a question, trying to poke the bear. That's when players get upset. But if you're just, in these guys' regards, they were both, I'll just say, two real good dudes. All right, Bird time. Me too. Of course, Barry was my favorite. Then Spielman, Mel Gray, Benny Blades. Yeah. Mike Kofor was probably, as much as I loved all those dudes, Mike Kofor was the dude for me. Always enjoyed him. Another dude, kind of quiet, would have fit on this team perfectly. But man, could he rush the quarterback? I mean, that dude was like 3% body fat. And if you ever get an opportunity, check out Mike Kofor. Tons of great Lions during the 90s. Offensively, defensively, some real good dudes. It's unfortunate that Jerry Ball got hurt. Then he had the Mike Utley situation, and then Eric Andelsack. And I get this is 1,000 years old, but you do wonder if Ball would have been healthy, if Utley doesn't get hurt, if Andelsack, was trimming his bushes in his yard, had ear headphones on to lower the decimals from the Clippers. If I remember correctly, a semi truck driver fell asleep, went off the road, and ran into Andelsack, which unfortunately ended his life. But yeah, if those three guys would have been good to go, who knows? Maybe we would have made the Super Bowl. All right, Mike K, a.k.a. Hutch Jr., checking in, fellas, exclamation point, heading to Florida. Enjoy the trip, man. Flight leaves later, not ready for the 103 weather. Well, you're heading to Florida, man. Hopefully you have a good time and enjoy your trip. Just any news on DB Mosley and his recovery on his ACL injury, question mark. Is he expected back by training camp? I have not heard an update on him, Cruz, to be fair. So what I would say is my anticipation is he'll be good to go by training camp, but that's my anticipation. If he can get some preseason workout, or preseason games in to work things out, then good for him. Then we get that much deeper. I like the guy. I think he's got a little bit of a battle to crack the starting lineup since he's been out so long. But when he's healthy, at least the last time you've seen him on an NFL field, the dude can play. He can play, and he is a good man-to-man corner. I'm hoping he can get back. So we'll see what happens. One funky. Don, what's good, bud? What is good, Don? Hey, man, other than Barry Sanders, Lem Barney was my favorite player. All right, nothing wrong with that. So, yeah, there's been some real good dudes in the Detroit Lions over the decades. JDC, go ahead. Scoff on Goff. It won't matter. In the end, go Jared Goff and the Detroit Lions. Yes, Jared Goff, I think, is going to take us to the Super Bowl, win the dang thing. And, man, every Lions fans out there, even my friend Tommy, if you're watching, who I know. So I told you guys I went to a buddy of mine's kid's graduation, high school graduation. I mean, they're family. We're all family. And Tommy is also family, but he's one of the biggest Goff haters. I mean, as much as he bleeds the Detroit Lions, I mean, he will wear Lions gear all day long, anywhere he's at. And he will bleed Hallelujah blue and silver. But that also being said, he is cheering the Detroit Lions on while also throwing daggers at Goff on every pass. I don't know why. He does not like Jared Goff. I think he's in a win-win situation. The Lions win, he's happy. Goff fails, he's happy. So it's just, I get there are some fans out there like that. All right, a.k.a. Hutch Jr., of course, I'll be wearing my Lions jersey throughout the airport. 100%. You got to represent. Jess, what do you got? Any history on players coming back from this? From ACLs, yes, or something else you're talking about as far as other injuries? I think the Lions, from an injury standpoint, are in pretty good shape. Doesn't mean guys won't have some challenges. I do think when it comes to Emmanuel Mosley, he's got an upward battle just because we've become so deep at the position. If you're talking about Levi Onwuzurike, yeah, there have been guys in the NFL that have come back from it. It's just they're probably never going to be what they were, but that's probably true with any injury you get. Like Bill Parcells always used to say, once that tread starts coming off the tire, no matter what you do, it doesn't ever fully come back. All right, Don Bird, one funky, all is well. There you go, bird time. Hex, yes, JDC, 100%. Don Kong, who is scoffing on Goff? Hopefully nobody. Really, if you're a Lions fan, whether you like the guy or not, you should be wanting him to throw, 100% completion every game, throw for 4,000 yards every game, because at the end of the day, the better he does, the better the Lions are probably going to do. All right, J-Rod, Memorial Day weekend unofficially kick off to summer. We'll go with that, and I think you're right on that. Just not a fan of counting on Donovan Peoples-Jones to replace JR. Yeah, either him, Green, or maybe somebody else. Who knows, man? But let's see where things fall into place. One funky, DK, that's a good question. It could be. Don Kong, yeah. Who is scoffing on Goff? JR, big balls. Yes, there we go. Bird time, Don Kong. I think he's just saying in general, if anyone chooses to talk smack, yeah, he could be doing just that. Don Kong, no one using hooker like Hill. They're called hooker packages. There you go. You got to have a package of hookers, right? Not Hill packages. There, all right? JDC, Don Kong, to the people who have, only they know. All right, I'll go with that. Bird time, exactly, JDC. JDC, bingo, Berg. Don Burr, what do you got? They had a list of 5 underappreciated Lions. Branch, Pascal, Wright, Craig Reynolds, Jack Campbell made the list. Ooh, underappreciated, man. And Brian Branch, yeah, I could see that. Pascal, too. I do think Pascal, people forget, his playoff push with the team was pretty good, especially if you go back and watch, some of those games now. Yeah, I think he's coming to his own. Right, yes. Craig Reynolds, probably. Jack Campbell, yeah. Jack Campbell, I could see a lot of people, just because he was a rookie last year, and the other rookies, first, second rounders, were just so good that I think people do kind of forget just how quietly good Jack Campbell's rookie year was. All right, Don Guy, who the F underappreciated Branch? He's a stud. Star day one. I'll go with that. Maybe somebody did, though. Don Kong, Don, what do you say? At Don Kong, Branch didn't even make the best players under 25 list. He didn't, and I think if he continues to rise the way he did, he would be on it next year. Amy, Dan, did the fabric softener help your shirts? Yes, they did, by the way. I washed a few of them just to get ready, and yes, thank you for that. JDC, Amy, I'm still itching. Yeah, just for you, JDC, I'll start scratching. All right, Motown, what do you got? Neither did Campbell, who was second in tackles last year, Don Burr. Yeah, but keep in mind, guys, this is across the whole NFL. Campbell and Brian Branch have another great year. Then next year, I think they both probably do make the list. Mo 300 club member Gunny, question mark, sub 18 3 miles time all my career. All right. Those are good times, Bo. Good, very good times. Don at Motown Mitch, exactly. All right. Doug, vegan service, United States Air Force in 1966, left as a SS as a Sergeant 4, later years in 1970, wasn't employed in Vietnam, but many others did. Lost a cousin born the same year from Holland, Michigan, that I never met. A time of loss. Yeah, sorry to hear that, Doug. Very, very sorry to hear that. Doug. Okay, same thing. Sorry about that. Motown. A young man loved Billy Sims. Yeah, as a young man, loved Billy Sims. Yeah, he's a pretty good dude. I know he had. Yeah, gosh, I think he's gotten into the food industry. Don't hold me to that, but that sounds right. So hopefully he's doing well, man. It's too bad some of the surgery or the practices for recovery from knee damage that are available now weren't around then, because he probably would have been around a while. Of course, if that happened, then maybe Barry Sanders is in Detroit Lion. I don't know. Speculating. JC, my guys, Mike Luce and Alex Karras. Yes, man, I remember Alex. Yeah, he was a heck of a player, and had a pretty good acting career too. How about the Bubba Smith or Al Smith? What was his rookie year? He had something like 20, 24 sacks. And I get those before they really recorded sacks, but going back and verifying them, I don't think he gets enough praise for the strong career he had in Detroit either. All right, Bo. Those who were some terrible times, Coach. Curse of Bobby Lane. Billy Sims was also a casualty. Yes, I would agree. Just it's unfortunate because he was a heck of a player. All right, Bergheim. I like Mosley. He can play when healthy. Yeah, when he gets healthy. Don, Zach Follett. There you're right. Donkey Mosley will be nice to get back in November. Hopefully it's before that, but maybe you're right, Donkey. Maybe it is later in the season. All right, Matthew, Mosley is participating on a limited basis in OTAs. They expect him to be ready for training camp. Yeah, and I've in my time coaching, and I get it's eons. I've seen people back in 4 months from an ACL. That's rare. I've seen one person do it, but most people, I'd say nowadays, probably 8 months. Maybe 12. It may take longer to be fully yourself again and have all the trust and build up in it again, but it can be done. Everybody's different. There's so many different factors that go into it. I want to say it was back in like 2012. There was a kid who tore ACL. I want to say it was, man, don't hold me to this, man, but one of the kids I coached, and I get, younger 20s, but yeah, tore it in, I want to say August. Was back on the field literally like 4.5 months later on a limited basis, but everybody's so all over. Different people recover faster. I guess I should just say that. All right, Bo Mosley is the wild card. Yeah, I think it'd be a real nice addition. James Lowe, what do you got? Can linebackers Campbell and Barnes tackling be improved to tackle the good running quarterbacks and give us 3 more season victories and the Super Bowl and win the Super Bowl? I think so. I mean, you think about this. You think how young they are in the league. Are they going to get better? I'd say that the math supports them all getting better, and probably radically so since they're younger players. I mean, Barnes is only going into year 3 or 4, Campbell into year 2. So we should see, to your point, James, more growth out of them. Duncan, yeah, Mosley will absolutely not be ready for training camp. Exclamation point. You heard it here first. All right, we'll mark it down, Donkey. See where it goes. All right, Bo, happy trails to you. All done and dusted. See y'all tomorrow. Very good. See you tomorrow, Bo. James, did not Goff have more victories last year, 14, than any other quarterback in Lions history? I think so. Especially with the extended season, I do think he is now the team record holder for it. All right, a couple more questions here, and it's due 30 for me. One funky DK. Dunkong, is someone saying Mosley will be ready before the season? Who knows? I mean, some reports are out from the Lions representation saying that they believe he'll be ready for training camp. Now, that doesn't mean he'll be on the field, just be ready for training camp. So where things go, wait and see. J-Rod, happy great day. Family weekend. Nick, kick off to summer. Yes, go enjoy it, J-Rod. Hopefully you have a great one. Don Kong, yeah, most people are one funky. All right. All right, guys, I'm going to go ahead and get on here. A couple more here, get some people who haven't been on yet. Michael, Morning Duke Crew, Lions, our area scout, Patrick Murdoch did a fantastic interview on YouTube a couple of days ago. He raves about Wingo. Worth a watch. I'll check that out. And thanks for that heads up there. So, all right, guys, go enjoy the rest of your day. Have a great weekend. If there's some breaking news later today, I'll try to get it over to you as quick as possible. If you could take a quick moment of time, hit the subscribe button. If you have not yet subscribed, also, everybody watching, we've got a little over 400 people watching. If you could hit the thumbs up button, it helps the channel out a lot. Otherwise, take care. Enjoy your day. See you all on the next Lions Talk Live. See you guys.
Happy trails to you until